Hello everyone, I hope that you have gone through with all the recordings so far in the Stochastic Processes 1. So by now we have discussed some of the important concepts in stochastic processes, and last week we discussed one of the important concepts, that is what is a Markov chain, and there we discuss about the trajectory as well. So in order to discuss about the further calculations, I would like to give you a small recap about the matrix calculations. So in this case, because when it comes to stochastic processes, most of the times we are dealing with matrices, so it is very important that you are very familiar with the matrix calculations. That is very, very important. So in this case, let's say you have a matrix A, and that is a square matrix. If it is a n into n square matrix, that is you have n number of rows and n number of columns. In that case, if you take a particular element in a matrix, let's say Aij, so that is it's coming from the ith row and the jth column. So we denote it as Aij, right? And then when you take the Aij element of A, we can write that this element as simple Aij, or else you can use capital A, that is the name of the matrix, within brackets and just indicate Ij. So same thing. And if it is a square matrix, we can talk about the matrix A square, and in that case we can write it as A squared Ij, right? So in this case, when it comes to matrix multiplication, I hope you remember we can't just multiply any matrix that we like. So if you have a matrix, if you have to multiply two matrices as matrix A and matrix B, let's say matrix A has I number of rows and j number of columns, and if you want to multiply matrix A by matrix B, we know we need to have the same number of columns as rows in matrix B, right? So in this case, if you have let's say you have matrix A, matrix B, and if both matrices are n into n matrices, square matrices, no problem, you can talk about the product. So the product we can write as AB, and if you take any when you take the product, what you have to do is you have to multiply all the values in the first row in the first column and obtain the value of element of the first row first column, and then you have to take the first row second column likewise. So for that you can write let's say Aik, you have to multiply by Bkj and take the summation, right? I know you know how to multiply two matrices, just to refresh your knowledge. Then when it comes to squared value of a matrix, so if A is n into n square matrix, we can talk about the squared value of that matrix. So in that case, A squared Ij, so we can say Aik into Akj, where k grows from 1 to n. So as the notation, we can show it like this. So in this case, if you have a matrix n into n square matrix, and if you have a column vector with n number of rows and one column, something like this, right? Here n number of rows but one column. And in this case, if you want to multiply this, so this is a n into 1 matrix. If you write this column vector, this is n into 1, the dimensions, but your matrix is n into n. So in that case, if you want to pre-multiply matrix A by this vector, then what you have to do is you have to take the transpose, because since this is n into 1, you can't multiply n into 1 by n into n matrix. So what you have to do is when you take the transpose transpose of this vector. That is, if you take phi, if you take the transpose, that is phi transpose, then it will become 1 into n. So here you have 1 into n, here the matrix is n into n, then you will end up with 1 into n, again a vector. So that can be done. So here these notations are very important when it comes to stochastic processes, because especially when it comes to the proofs, we are using these notations. So in that case they are very important. So here now we are going to, with that, the basic notations, we are going to talk about the t-step transition probabilities. Now let's say we have a Markov chain. Let's say we have x0, x1, x2, and this is a Markov chain with the state space goes from 1 to capital N. So if you take Pij, so Pij is the transition matrix is defined as P. So Pij element is, you are starting from state I and you are going to state j. So that is the probability when t equal to 0, that is x0 is I, given that at time 0 you are in state I and at time t you are going to state j. So that we can write probability x1 equal to j, given that x0 equal to I. Right? So this is equal to probability xn plus 1 is equal to j, given that xn is equal to I for any n. So that is, at any time, given that you are in state I and in the next time duration, if you are going to reach state j, that probability is equal for the probability given that you are at the initial stage, that is when time equals 0, you are in state I and you are going to reach state j in the next time level, right? So that Pij is the probability of making a transition actually from state I to state j in a single step. It doesn't mind the time duration, in a single step, given that you are in state I and from a single step that you are reaching state j, that probability is given by Pij. So then we have a problem. If they are talking about a single step here, what is the probability of making a transition from state I to j over 2 steps? For an example, let's say when time equal to 0, we are in state I. Then when time equal to 1, let's say we are going to state k, and when time equal to 2, we are coming back to state j. So from 2 steps we are coming to state j. So that is probability when time equal to 2. x2 is j, given that when time equal to 0, x0 is I. Here we have used 2 steps, but in these 2 situations we have used only 1 step to reach j from I. Here 2 steps. So how are we going to find this probability? So that is a question. So in that case, we can use the partition theorem. So in this case, so here we are going to find the probability x2 is equal to j, given that x0 is I. So we can just write this using the notation. The initial state is I, probability x2 is j. Now here we can, now the intermediate step, that is when x1 is equal to, we don't know what is, where were we when t was equal to 1. So we can write this using the partition theorem. Pi x2 equal to probability that x2 equal to j, given that x1 is equal to k into probability x1 equal to k. So there are n number of steps, n number of states in this transition diagram, in this Markov chains. So k can be any state. When time is equal to 1, we can be at any state. So k can go from 1 to n. So I can write this as 1 to n. Right? And in this case, we can rewrite here if we are talking about x1 equal to k, we can rewrite this. When x naught equal, we already know here we have denoted pi, that is when x naught at time equal to 0, we are at ith state. So we can write this as x naught equal to I. And here probability x1 equal to k, given that x naught equal to I. And then using the Markov property, we know in the Markov property, the future event is only depending on the present event, not the past. So in this case, if we are talking about x2 is only depending on x1. We don't have to consider about x naught. So for this term, we can replace by probability x2 equal j, given that x2 equal k. And here we have probability x1 equal k, given that x naught equal I. So this is using the transition matrix notations. This is going from state k to state j using one step. This is going from state I to state k using one step. So that is pkj into pik. So this is actually, you have the same matrix. What you can do is, if you just rearrange this as pik into pkj, this is actually we are taking the we are just multiplying the two matrices, right? So this is p squared ij. So with that we can conclude, if you are interested about two-step probabilities and if you already have the transition matrix, we have to take the squared term of the transition matrix, and that will give you the probabilities. Your rows will indicate wherever you at time equal to 0, and your columns will indicate wherever you when time equal to 2 with the probabilities. Let's discuss an example. So before the example, just using the same method, we can find the three-step transitions as well. For an example, when time equal to 0, let's imagine we were at ith state, and when time equal to 3, we want to find out we are at state j, and we want to find out that probability. So given that when time equal to 0 at state I, we want to find the probability of reaching state j at time 3. So using the same process, we can find here at the intermediate, we can just put an intermediate step, that is when let's say when time is equal to 2, let's say we are at state k, and when time equal to 3, we are at state j. And here this we can just talk about when time equal to 0, they have given that we are at state I, and time equal to 2, we are at state k. So in this part, we are talking about two-step probability. So that is coming here, the p squared matrix is coming for that. And here reaching state j from k by one step, so that is pkj here. This term you can replace by pkj, so that is p to power 3. So from that we can obtain the three-step transition matrix. So likewise, if you just in the general case, if you just take this as for the general case, we can extend to show that the t-step transition probabilities are given by p to power t matrix. That is, given that when time equal to 0, that we are in state I, when probability of reaching state j by t number of steps at time equal to t, that is equal to ptij. Or when time equal to n, we are at state I. When time equal to n plus t, we are at state j. So however, we have to use t number of steps to reach that particular state, that we can talk about t step transition probability. That is, we can find it by p to power t matrix. So here there is a theorem. So if you have x0, x1, x2, if it is a Markov chain and n into n transition matrix, n into n transition matrix P, if this Markov chain is having, then the t step transition probabilities are given by PT, that matrix. That is what we just discussed, right? And the next thing that we are going to discuss is the distribution of xt. So if you take x0, x1, x2, if this is a Markov chain and if this Markov chain has n number of states, so if you think about xt, it's a random variable, right? So it has a distribution. We can write the probability distribution of xt as a column vector, n into 1 vector. For an example, if you take x0 means when time equal to 0, we can, if this Markov chain is having n number of states, there is a probability to be at any given state. We can be at state 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise there is a probability. So if you take the probability of being at state 1 when time equal to 0, that is probability x0 equal to 1, that is, let's say, phi 1. Likewise, the probability of being at state 2 when time equal to 0, that is phi 2. Likewise, if you take the probability x0 is equal to capital N, we can talk about all these probabilities. So that is the distribution of x0. So actually we can write it as a column vector like this. So in the Flea model that we talk about, at the initial stage, the Flea choosing at random which vertex it starts off at time 0. So there's a probability for that. So if the Flea is choosing the vertex I, there is a probability which associated with that. So that probability is the one that we have denoted here using phi I. So for every state we can talk about those probabilities, and that we call as the distribution of this xt. So if you are interested about the starting point, that is the distribution of x0. So we just write x0 is having phi transpose as the distribution. As a row vector we can write it like that. So in that case, if you know the distribution of x0, we can talk about the distribution of x1. So the distribution of x1 is, let's see, if you just think about probability of being at state j at time equal to 1. So at state when time equal to 0, you can be at any state. So this we can write probability x1 equal to j, given that x0 equal to I, probability x0 equal to I. So I can be any state, start going from 1 to n. So this is actually probability of going from state I to j, that is Pij. In this case, this is the probability distribution of x0. So that is denoted by phi I. So if you just take this, in this case, if you just rearrange as phi I into Pij, so we can take the phi transpose, and if you multiply that by the transition matrix, we can obtain the distribution of x1. So likewise, what you have to do is, if you want to take the distribution of x0, if you take it as phi transpose, if you take the distribution of x1, you can take it as phi transpose into p. So likewise, here we can just show using the partition rule. If you take the distribution of x2, that is equal to phi transpose into p2. So likewise, if you take the distribution of xt, that we can obtain by phi transpose into pt. So there is another theorem. So if you have x0, x1, x2, if it is a Markov chain with n into n transition matrix, the probability distribution of x0, let's say it's given by 1 into n row vector phi t, then the probability distribution of xt, that is given by phi t into pt. That is what we just discussed here. So when you are discussing the questions, when you are just working with the questions, you can just use these theorems directly to solve the questions. Right, so that is when you take the distribution of xt, that is phi t into pt. If you take the distribution of xt plus 1, that is phi t into pt plus 1. So that is, if you are taking one step, that you have to multiply transition matrix P on the right hand side by another transition matrix, right? So if you are taking t steps, you have to multiply it by t number of transition matrix from the right hand side. Okay, so I think that is clear, since we now in this case all these theorems that I discussed today, you can see there are very small proofs, and all the proofs that we can derive using the partition theorem and the Markov property. So those proofs are possible to come even as an exam question. So you can just do this, you can just be familiar with these proofs, so get practice. And since we discuss, as I told you, I'm going to discuss short I'm going to maintain short discussions, then you can go through with videos and get all the content to your head and be familiar with everything. So because of that, I'm going to stop for today, and I hope you get through with this, and you get familiar with all these theorems and calculations as well. So in the next session, let's discuss how to use these theorems and solve the questions. Thank you so much.